Hello.
Hi, Christine. Look at you in your little... Oh, I was going to say, look at you in your little trashy headband. I love
Thank you.
Yeah.
I wore it just for you today. I was getting ready and I thought, oh, I'll add a little accessory for empathy.
A little trashiness.
A little trash. Wink.
Oh, well, I like it. You look very...
Trashy.
I don't remember what the right words are. Boho chic or something like that. You look
Rustic,
very nice.
Magnolia. Joanna Gaines.
You look very JG. So
thanks.
How are you doing today? How was the baby that will never escape your body?
Pregnant.
Jesus Christ. I'm so tired of this.
It's funny because I feel like I'm being people who have been pregnant are probably rolling their eyes because I'm like, I'm only 39 weeks. It's not like I'm
it's not like you're 55.
My due date.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people go well past their due date, and that I can imagine would be like serious cause for complaint, and it will be if I get past my due date. You will be hearing from me, unsurprisingly. But I do feel like 39 weeks, I'm kind of like, all right, let's get this show on the road, man.
If I have to personally in my life have this drag out, everyone else does, I think. So.
Yeah. If Em has to suffer, everyone has to suffer.
That's how I pretty much live my life and do the things I do. Yeah. So, and also at this point, that baby better stay in there, knock on wood, because next week is Halloween and there should be a Halloween maybe water breakage on the show. That'd be really convenient.
Well, next week
very
is
spooky.
To clarify, we're recording our Halloween episode next week. As you're hearing this, or as we're recording, it's still September. We're not like time-wise, we're several weeks ahead. But yes, we're recording our Halloween episode in a few days, and it would be nice if I could be involved in that.
Well, also like when this episode comes out, it will be Halloween though. Or when the next episode comes out.
But like by then I won't be pregnant anymore. So I don't think.
Right, but they should at least hear during a spooky episode that something really spooky happens to you.
Yes, this is terrifying.
And also me via trauma. So
it is
like
a horror show. You're right.
You get it.
Finally. Yeah, I get it. Finally. It took me a minute. Sorry, I have pregnancy brain.
Christine, by the way, I wanted to say I have a very delicious smoothie today. It's really rocking my
I know
world.
You ordered another smoothie. I'm like, what's going on? What did you get? You're in a kick lately.
Since I saw you, we had like 3 smoothies
We kept
together.
ordering smoothies. I don't know why. I'm not usually like a smoothie. I don't do that usually.
Never order smoothies. And then
maybe Eva did it. Let's blame Eva.
Okay.
She was here.
It was because I had a nap, remember? And it was something about I woke up for a smoothie.
You kept asking for your smoothie and then going back to bed.
That was one of the best naps ever. I think I already mentioned it on a couple episodes ago, but if any of you
mentioned it when you woke up
Nook,
from said nap.
Anyway, that smoothie was good. This smoothie's good. This one is like a banana peanut butter situation.
That's what I got when I went to the hospital that one time. Put some protein in there. Then I went home. So it was worthless.
So it didn't work. Got it.
Tasted good. Yesterday, my mother-in-law called me and said, you should eat lobster. That gets the baby out. And I was like, I don't need an excuse to eat lobster. So I was like, please order me some lobster. So we ate some lobster, and I drank some of my little tea, and I ate 6 dates, and I'm still pregnant.
That's what's up.
Didn't freaking work.
We really got to get you to eat something spicy. I think that would.
We did buffalo wings. Remember?
No, we got to find something worse than that. We got to on brand. Maybe for Halloween we eat ghost peppers. I don't know.
Okay. Here's the problem, and not to be that guy, but I already have a pretty bad chronic stomach illness, so I try to be pretty careful with my spicy food consumption. So I feel like it's a dangerous game to play.
I feel like I feel like I should empathize more, but really I just want to see you eat something spicy.
Yeah, I know you do. I know you just want to watch me suffer, but you're doing that already, and I don't know why this isn't enough for you, but I do feel like I don't want to get sent to the hospital for the wrong reason. Like if I'm going to a hospital,
while you're there if you're there for the wrong reasons, maybe they'll just like do a little 2-for-1 situation and hook you up with the right reason.
Yeah.
As I'm a doctor, by the way.
As how it works in your mind, yeah.
Yeah, you get it. Why do you drink besides me just torturing you left and right about hurting your own body?
Listen, I drink. This is a full circle. I drink because I can't drink. And it's right about now. I will tell you, the day you left, it dropped to 65 degrees. It's beautiful out. It's like fall, perfect fall weather. I'm not kidding. It's gorgeous. And I was like, wow, it's fall, it's Halloween season. All I want to do is get like a cider and sit outside. And I can't move barely. I can't walk. I can't drink. I just want to enjoy Halloween season. So I'm very excited for being able to have a glass of wine on my balcony in the fall weather. It's a very lame reason to drink, but I just miss drinking a little bit.
I drink because apparently the second I left, the aesthetic really ramped up.
It was like 105 when you were here, and all of a sudden it's like 65. It's really...
It's a good old-fashioned middle finger from God himself to me,
That's exactly
I guess.
Right.
So... Yeah. That's a real bummer.
Why do you drink? Is
that's
there
why, because I was like,
okay.
oh, well, while I was with you, it could have been like spooky season, but
just
instead
beautiful.
we were sweating our little tushies off at that baseball game.
We tried. We went and bought Halloween decorations. Like, we really leaned into it, but it just, the weather didn't cooperate. So, sorry about that.
It's fine, I guess. It's just, I feel like I was the evil energy then, because the second I leave, everything feels more peaceful. It's very odd.
Suddenly the world is right again, you know?
Well, speaking of the world not being too right, let's tell a story about that. Oh, by the way, here's another reason I drink.
Do tell.
It's a personal thing, but you've also discussed it enough times
on the show. It's always a personal thing.
I smell so bad right now.
Why?
Because I planned on waking up earlier to shower before we recorded, and now I'm doing it after we record, and I'm very stinky. And every time I
shower. Don't worry.
Every time it's like, because I'm wearing this shirt. I wore it yesterday also, and usually that's like I'm not going anywhere. I'm still basically quarantined because when I'm home, I never leave my house when I'm in California. So it's basically just a pajama shirt, but I forgot to put deodorant on, so my armpits are gross.
I don't like that feeling when you're kind of you just feel, even if it's
every
just
time
you.
Every time I lift my arm to drink the smoothie, I get a whiff of myself and I'm so grossed out. So anyway.
Well, as usual, we're going to talk about smell-o-vision, but for once, I'm glad it doesn't exist.
If other people were here, I would be really, really embarrassed. So I'm going to take a shower immediately after we record. So.
I told Em this, and I feel like this is just a really random fun fact about my pregnancy that probably nobody cares about, but one thing I have noticed, because I haven't had many positive things, it's been fine, but I haven't had many, people say oh my God, my hair has grown so much, all that. I haven't really noticed that. The one thing I have noticed is that because my skin is so much drier, my hair gets much less oily. So I have to wash it so much less than usual. And I used to have to wash my hair at least every day if I was seeing people, or every other day. Now I can go 3 or 4 days without washing my hair. And it is a game changer. It'll probably stop once I am not pregnant anymore, but this is the one bonus I feel like I've gained from my time being pregnant is
that's very nice. Your hair never looked bad when I was with you too. Looks
thank you. Well, I wash it so often usually before I was pregnant, but the thing too is now if I'm not washing my hair for several days, I have to be very cognizant of I need to be cognizant that means I'm not automatically showering every single day. So anyway, I feel you with the constant
No, it's it's the smell of body odor. I smell real gross right now.
Get some native in there. I'm wearing my coconut vanilla again today in honor of
I'm
you.
Here's the thing. It's it's so bad I'm afraid to put deodorant on instead of just shower, because then I feel like I'm going to stick the whole deodorant stick. Yeah. So I really just am going to tell this story and then go hop in a shower. And then I'm going to
let me tell my story first, please, because I feel
afterwards though, I will tell you the good thing is I'm going to smell so nice. I'm going to smell very lovely, and then I'm going to make everyone
turn the smell-o-vision back on.
You get it. Okay, here's your spooky story. And Christine, I gotta say, this one's a diamond in the rough, because we don't get a lot of these anymore. Last week was a poltergeist one, which I thought was going to be the height of me finding something super spooky. I feel like I always find one spooky one, and then a couple weeks go by before I find another super spooky one. But this one is apparently very famous. Have not heard of it before. Or I've heard of it before, and it was kind of on the back burner. Anyway, I'm covering it now. It's considered the Amityville Horror of Wales.
Ooh, okay. I'm excited.
So this, sweet Christine, is the story of sweet, nice smelling, trashy headband Christine. This is the story of the Hellfire Farm haunting, which is also known as Hael Fannig, because that was the original name of the farm. It's also in Welsh, and I don't know how to pronounce it right, so I hope I'm doing it okay.
Sounds spooky.
I don't know where the emphasis is, so it could be Hael Fanog, or it could be Hael Fanog. I don't know. So, anyway.
Hellfire sounds scary.
And then it got renamed to Hellfire Farm.
I like that. So, that's scary.
You know a place is spooky with a bad history when they rename it something worse.
After the Devil's Home.
Wow, that smoothie really is hitting the spot. Okay. Okay, so the year is 1989. We don't know it fondly. Eva does.
Wow, way to call out.
Okay, Eva was like a preschooler.
Eva was like a baby, yeah.
We were quick to show up. Let's call this
almost there.
Let's call this one of the last peaceful times in Eva's life.
That's right. That's before Eva, like, something turned and Eva was like, the air is different.
And then Eva, like, went to kindergarten as chill went down her spine. It was because of us. Yeah. Okay, so 1989, we're in Wales, and the family is called the Rich family. So it's Bill Rich and his wife Liz, and then his son Lawrence from a previous marriage. And he's like a moody teenager. So.
Same,
the three of,
by the way.
The three of them all moved to an area called, in an American dialect, Brecon Beacons. Okay. I don't know if Brecon is pronounced differently, but moved to Brecon Beacons, and it was on a farm, and the farm was called Hael Fanog, I assume, which later became Hellfire Farm. So when they first moved there, their first year there was pretty right out of a storybook, where this is a quote from Bill. That first summer, everything went right. My work took off. I was featured in all the magazines. I couldn't stop selling stuff. He was an artist, by the way. I was featured in all the magazines. I couldn't stop selling stuff. Liz got pregnant, and we thought everything was wonderful. Like right at the beginning of any good old scary movie.
Aww.
But they did recognize that the first time they moved in, although everything seemed peachy keen, they both knew something very intense was in the energy there. They later said that they felt like they had entered a force field.
Oh, okay.
Yikes. So they end up having 2 kids. At first they have a baby named Ben, and then later they have a baby named Rebecca. And when Liz has her first baby, Ben, that's when the problems really begin. So they start hearing heavy footsteps in the middle of the night, especially when Liz is nursing. So it's completely empty. By the way, get ready, Christine.
I know. I was like, I don't love that. The connotation of that. No, for my future.
So Bill, again, this is a quote from him about the footsteps. He says, I remember it so well. They were big footsteps, like a man in hobnailed boots stamping on the floorboards. I went upstairs and Liz was feeding the baby, but no one else was in the house. So if you ever hear a man with crazy boots storming around,
you'll hear from me. Don't worry.
Yeah, you're gonna FaceTime me and be like, "What is this sound?" And
Sorry,
I'll be like,
my boob is out, but I have to talk to you.
Christine, I have a hunch your boob is not going to be the thing that scares me.
The horror show. Yeah, you're right.
I'll be like, get out of your fucking house. What is going on? Take your boobs with you.
Yeah.
So the family also started hearing banging. They started hearing doors slamming. Apparently, Liz started hearing snoring. That was so loud that even she couldn't sleep.
Oh.
And they were starting to smell what was a combination of incense and something sulfuric all throughout the house, which feels demonic. Usually,
it's a very strong smell too.
Yeah, and anytime you smell sulfur in a haunted house, they say it could be demonic.
Yeah, and I feel like sulfur you can smell, like sometimes water has that kind of, like if your water has a lot of like buildup in it, you can smell that sulfuric smell. But that plus incense is like a very intense scent.
Also to me, that makes it sound like it's like sweet in a way, which is how they describe death.
Creepy. Ew, creepy.
They also started smelling something really rotten in the kitchen sink. So that's interesting.
Well, that happens sometimes.
That
if you
I
don't
smell that
have a
also.
disposal, but
Anyway, maybe they were throwing that in there like, oh yeah, that's also pretty demonic. At
also
least
while we're
the
here,
stench.
can the priest please clean out our sink drain? Thanks.
So, what was the funniest thing you said a while ago?
No, don't start with this again.
Okay.
It was literally me quoting Linkin Park, and for some reason,
It tickled me pink. I don't know what was going on, but Christine said it, and I just could not keep it together.
I was like beside myself because I was like, I don't know why we're laughing so much.
I don't remember why you quoted Linkin Park, but I remember you saying it, and I went into a tizzy. I couldn't keep it together.
I thought you might lose consciousness there. You weren't breathing for a while. It was startling.
It was one of those laughs where like your stomach feels like it's gonna rip off of the rest of you. It was like if you know how you're like my abs, but you have no abs, but you can feel them all of a sudden. Yeah. That's what it felt like. Okay, so Bill, the artist. So in his art studio that he created when they moved in, he also started noticing around the same time as the smells and the footsteps that items and tools from his art studio kept moving on their own.
I don't like that.
From the corner of his eye, he would see paintbrushes flying across the room.
Oh, he could see it. Oh, no.
Apparently, things would also go missing, and eventually the family started seeing shadows and believing that they had a bout of bad luck. It's like, you should have believed that the second your paintbrushes were flying everywhere. Like, that's the bout of...
It's not good luck, at the very least.
You have bad luck already that there's a demon. But I'm glad you sensed it eventually. One of the ways that they thought they had bad luck was the family all of a sudden started getting their first electric bills in the mail for the house because they had quarterly bills. And when they were coming in, they were insanely expensive. Like, unnaturally so, where I think they said in one article that like if they had turned everything on and had it running for 24 hours, it'd still be a fraction of the price.
Okay.
So the first bill that came in was 750 quid, which, by the way, in today's world, for those who use quid, it's 1,590 quid or $2,200 today. Okay. So the power bill was $2,200.
Right.
And they were like, no, that does not make sense. And so they called a power company. The power company couldn't do anything about it because they said that the meters were accurate and they were going off of readings from that location
part
alone.
Of me is like, these people are like, oh, there's something in the disposal's broken and our electric bill's too high. And everyone's like, it's not a ghost. You're just like not managing your power very well.
Like the people at this power company were texting the plungers next door or the plumbers next door. The plumbers next door being like, what is going on over at this house? They are trying to like totally rip us off. So they said like, no, we're looking at the meters. Like this isn't coming from any other location. This is all your energy reading. But the family was like, we don't even really use a lot of power. Like, what the fuck is going on?
And it was like the 80s, right? Oh yeah, you said the inflation. Already. Yeah.
But so that's like what, like, I'm guessing it's like that's like in today's world, it's like $750 power bills per month here. And so like
I thought it was 2,000 some.
That's every 3 months.
Oh, so that's not that high.
So if you divide it up, it was like $750 a month in power.
Oh, that's like that's like not that high. I mean, if you have a house.
If you have a house, yeah. I don't know. Mine's not that. But for them, it was apparently way too much.
All right, fine. I'll give it to them.
And so for, it was every quarter. And so they called the power company. They couldn't do anything. And the power company's name was Swalek. And they said that they were only charging for the meters. And at one point, a Swalek employee even came out and Bill showed them like nothing was turned on, but the meters were spinning anyway.
Oh, okay. That's weird.
And fun fact, they end up opening up a local lawsuit against Swalek. And the person defending Bill's family, they were like, we never mentioned that it could have been spiritual stuff causing this, but we did tell them, like, if they can't come up with a logical reason for why no power is on and yet their meters are running. Why should they charge us? And I think they ended up backing down and they stopped asking for payment. Fun fact.
Okay. Okay. That's good.
So in the barn during all of the, other XYZ paranormal symptoms, in the barn on the farm, people started feeling complete total dread, like something evil was watching.
I don't like that when it controls your emotions like that. I don't like that. That scares me.
Well, so Liz was quoted saying, "If you feel something watching you all the time, you have to assume its next step is to do something to you."
Ooh.
And that's what they basically lived in constant fear.
Do I have to assume that? I guess so.
She did. And I guess that, imagine walking on those eggshells though, of like, I know I'm being stared at. And so
Eek.
Liz later also started seeing blue and white lasers, like at least lights so bright they might as well have been laser beams in the barn, which is very interesting.
That is very weird.
Also near the barn, animals start acting really weird and being really aggressive, including their pet pig, who they named Lucinda Ragwort Rigland.
That is the most important fact you've said so far. Thank you.
Lucinda Ragwort Rigland. Three names.
I love her.
And so she started getting super aggressive. Some of the goats got really aggressive. Apparently new animals on the farm were all being weirdly born, either blind or stillborn, or some of them.
What?
Some of the neighbors' goats had some sort of like physical impairment when they were born. Other animals on the farm just out of nowhere started dropping dead near the barn.
That's so sad.
And like I said, some of them, their behavior was completely changing. So, I mean, I imagine you kind of know your animals after a while. And they were all of a sudden getting really violent. Some of the goats were acting aggressive. One of them apparently even trampled its own like babies to death. It was like really bad, like really rough.
Jesus Christ.
So the animals are freaking the fuck out. The family is also now seeing full blown, not just shadow figures, but apparitions around the house.
Oh.
One of them was a man with a head injury where apparently he looked like he was fresh out of a car accident because he was covered in blood and half of his face was missing.
That's like some Sixth Sense bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. Another one was a spirit that was, quote, 7 feet tall, dressed in all black with the head of a bird.
Oh.
Like
that sounds like when my sister
that one apparently just
her
like
plague mask on in my backyard.
It looks like the plague mask, kind of, yeah.
She literally wanders around like that. I mean, she's not 7 feet tall, but it is really scary to see.
Apparently that one just like waltzed into their kitchen one day.
Ugh.
It creeps me out somehow even more when it so casually moves about. Like, it's not even trying to be creepy. It's like,
it's not like in the corner. It's just like, I'm making a sandwich. Excuse me.
Also, there was a succubus, apparently. There was a woman spirit of a woman who was trying to seduce Bill. And at one point, also in the kitchen, by the way, I think that's why they started using like the sink smells rotten and demonic, because we're seeing all these spirits in the kitchen. I don't know. I think they probably tried to combine both parts of their experiences. But also in the kitchen, there was the bird monster guy, and Bill had this spirit of a woman trying to seduce him and put him under a trance. But luckily, Bill, quote, snapped his attention back to his salad. So...
he's like, this is more enticing.
Can you imagine a salad being so good that a supernatural trance can't even hold your
I would be
so
gaze. Fucking offended if I were the person trying to get the attention and someone was like, this salad though. I'd be like, salad? It's not even a hamburger?
Give Blaze the best salad you've ever made and then try to seduce him and tell me what he does.
I don't think I've ever made a salad, Em. I mean, maybe
it'd be life-changing. You don't know. I don't know. Maybe the salad. Like, what's your dream salad? What's the salad that would take you away from being seduced by, like Zach
macaroni
Bagans?
Salad. Like, I don't want a salad. Like, potato salad. Don't give me a salad.
Oh, interesting. I love a good salad.
I'm not a salad person, man.
You fucking like that trout garbage salad.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
you
yeah,
eat.
yeah, yeah. Like I'll eat like a trout salad.
If Blaze showed, I don't know what your thing is with Blaze, but if he like had like, I don't know if he showed like his 6-pack, I don't know.
Yeah.
And you were eating
sure.
a trout horseradish salad, I think you'd say, Blaze, hold the fuck on.
I
I'm
think
busy.
both of us would end up in hell for just that for that very scene. We wouldn't. I don't think we'd be allowed to be like good people anymore. Nothing good would come of that. Also, real quick, I asked Blaze what our bill is. It's not $700. It's like $400 or something. Like it's high in the wintertime, but it's
so
not
wild.
I didn't want everyone to be like, what the fuck is Christine doing with a $700 electric bill?
Honestly, I think you're the person that everyone would shrug off if you were doing that. They'd be like, "You've got some weird time machine in your
I've
fucking
probably
closet."
like plugged my Cricut machine in too long, and like it's just run up the electric bill. Yeah,
It's either something really advanced or really unadvanced,
or like, really stupid.
It's like I have a Tesla coil for my Cricut machine or something. I don't know.
So I can make more vinyl, like gifts for M.
It's you got a self-heated kitchen that can make you trout salad all day or something.
See, we even have like when we moved in, they had this like really tacky little like wine fridge. It's like 2 feet tall. Like it's not anything fancy, but it's stuck in the kitchen. And like I immediately unplugged it because I was like, I drink wine too fast to have this running constantly. Like it just felt really wasteful. I'm like, just put the wine in the fridge. You know what I mean?
Honestly, the thing that is I'm going to spend the most like electric bill money on one day is I've already cleared it with Allison, but in the basement at some point, one wall has to be completely a grid of lava lamps. So
oh shit, that's gonna be. You call me then and tell me your electric bill, okay?
Yeah, that one's gonna be a doozy. So
like I'm pretty careful with mine, and it still ends up being high with the heating and in the wintertime. That's the other thing. Like I feel like in LA, my bill was never that high because we didn't have weather. Like we didn't have to turn.
Right. Well, you never needed the heater.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, sorry. That's anyway, irrelevant. But
no, you're good. I'll let you know what my number is once I hit that lava lamp wall.
I can't wait to compare my Cricut Tesla coil and your lava lamp wall. It's gonna be wild.
It'll be crazy. So where were we? Oh yes,
I don't
Bill's
know. I'm so sorry.
Trout salad, and he's being seduced. At this point, not only is he seeing apparitions that are seducing him and also having bird heads. It'd be interesting if the bird head one was the one seducing him.
That's pretty sexy.
I could see why he then chose the salad.
I would agree.
Liz is also seeing apparitions, including an old woman, and this old woman is like the most frequent one. I think Liz saw it a bunch of times. One time she was coming back home, and while she was outside, she looked through the window, and an old woman was staring at her. Woo! And then she vanished. She's later seen in Ben's room. And the kids even commented later saying that when they got older, when they were like toddlers, they would see this old woman in the playroom with them all the time. Just sitting silently and not reacting. Oh, I have like total
Me
goose
too.
right now.
Oh, I hate it.
And they never said anything to their parents because they thought their parents could also see this thing. And since the parents weren't overreacting, they were like, I guess this person's welcome here. So they just never
lives with us now.
They just they never. I guess they knew it was. I'm guessing that. They knew she was creepy, but never said anything. Because they were like, well, if she wasn't supposed to be here, our parents would say something.
Right.
And, but yeah, so apparently she would just sit with the kids all the time in the playroom. And eventually Liz started noticing something dark in the corner sitting with them. And the creepiest part of this old woman was that apparently Bill and Liz one night saw either the woman or a hooded figure at the foot of their bed. Because they woke up to the door opening and, quote, a skeletal hand curled its fingers around the latch and slammed the door shut again. And then they woke up to seeing this apparition in front of them. The family also started seeing shadow figures running through the kitchen, and someone who was camping close to their backyard reported later seeing a man in the window all night long.
Ew. They were like, wow, that man just wants to watch us roast marshmallows
Eat
all night.
salad. I know.
Eat salad. Not
Sorry.
camping. Are you kidding
Right,
me?
right. I was
There's
thinking
only
the
so
reverse.
far I will let you take this salad thing. Okay. Camping with salad is not happening.
I thought you were talking about the camper watching the people inside.
Oh, no. Yeah, the guy in the
reversed
window was eating a salad the whole time. He just stared out. The silhouette of some kale was coming off the edge of the bowl. Wow.
So Bill was also now having frequent nightmares of a figure with a beak on its face. Fun fact.
I don't like
and which could have also maybe been the Birdman, I guess.
Well, that's what I thought. Is that not what it was?
So this guy with a beak on his face was apparently very similar in looks to the Egyptian god Horus. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
The one with the beak on its face.
You nailed it, yeah. So that was how Bill ended up describing it. And during all of this, the power bills were still coming in at crazy high prices.
That's frightening.
And the family decided, I don't know if it was at this point or eventually they decided, oh, the energy bill is always really high because the spirits are using all of this energy to stay so powerful.
Yeah,
like harnessing the electricity.
It's like when light bulbs like pop because they theorize that they're like using that energy. Yikes.
Well, they were so Liz also later said something about how the lasers in the barn might have just been like such concentrated energy that it was looking super bright or
So
something.
that was just his laser machine next to the lava lamp
It's just
wall.
his Tesla coil that he was subletting from Christine.
From me.
So also very a la Amityville Horror, if you recall, and we will eventually redo the Amityville Horror for those who don't know, but the family who moved in later, the father of that family, as he was slowly becoming potentially more possessed, he began closing himself off from the family. He started like hiding away in his office and working overtime. And Bill started doing this too and was spending a lot more time in his art studio. And now the art that he was making was much more disturbing.
Oh, no.
And ironically wasn't selling as well. So I don't know if he was blaming his bad luck of his art on the fact that he was in a haunted house, or maybe he thought the haunted house stuff would make his art sell more. I don't know.
Right.
But his art was becoming clearly more disturbing. Apparently what he used to paint was like bright colors and, not the creepy stuff he was now
like
doing.
Birdman seducing a guy eating a salad. It would be a disturbing painting.
It would be a painting I'd buy, though.
We would have it in both our studios for sure.
He was just ahead of the times. Like, if it were 2021, that art would fucking
That
sell.
Etsy store would be sold out.
Insane.
Yeah.
Insane. So one painting that apparently doesn't get mentioned a lot, but it's just an interesting story to one of his pieces, was that at this time, one of the pieces of art that did sell was a local farmer asked for a painting of his horse, but Bill, for some reason, had this like mental block and would not paint the horse's legs.
What?
And eventually he tried to paint the legs, but like forgot how to paint horse legs. And so they ended up coming out looking very broken. And within the week, the horse's back legs had been injured.
No, baby. That's horrible.
So I don't know if that's like him having a premonition or him manifesting it or something, but it's just a creepy story.
That's horrifying.
Also, like George Letts from the Amityville Horror, his attitude became much more hostile to the family, and he was now having a quickly increasing interest in the occult. And Liz was also having behavioral changes. She apparently had gone into trances and was speaking in a, quote, evil, hateful voice that was not hers. And also the son, Lawrence, who was, he was an angsty teenager already, so...
Yeah.
Prime material to latch onto and make even more hostile. He apparently went into so many crazy bouts of rage where he was like spitting on the family and cussing them out, and he was not himself, that they ended up sending him away.
Oh, no.
And I don't know if it was like send him away because he's so horrid or because maybe they were saving him from something spiritually. I don't know what the reason was, but they had to send him away because of his personality
like behavioral
changing
problems
so much.
And stuff.
Yeah. Bill said about Lawrence, quote, "It was not him. I can't stress that enough. It wasn't Lawrence. That someone else was behind his face, and in his face was much older and incalculably evil." Also, I thought this was fun that one of the ways they tried to describe Lawrence as like being like, you know, crazy with rage is that he painted his room red. I was like, those crazy
God
kids.
forbid.
I know. So anyway, I thought that was silly. That was on a few articles where I was like, that's what we're gonna take the time to write. So anyway, apparently he also painted his room red, and that was what, for all we know, sent them over the edge and said, you're going to boarding school. So eventually, at this point, Liz is like, fuck this place, and packs up the kids and leaves.
That's the mom, right?
The mom. Yeah, she takes her 2 younger kids after, especially because now Lawrence is out of the house, and so she doesn't have to worry about him, and she just takes the 2 younger kids and leaves. But she's unable to convince Bill to leave with her, so he stays behind.
Okay.
And
Yikes.
while alone, Bill is now having even darker thoughts. Apparently, he's now thinking about hurting himself, especially in the kitchen where he's already had all this other activity. Apparently, in there specifically, he was thinking about all the knives that he was surrounded by. Liz also knows that he probably isn't doing well, so even though she left, she comes back to the house to check on him. And when she's there, when she gets to the house, the power has been cut off, which Bill never told her about. He was just now living in a house without power.
Like that. Oh no.
When she gets inside the house, she sees that the power's off, and also there's a bunch of crazed drawings all over the walls. And Bill is, quote, standing almost comatose and muttering about dead bodies while walking through the house.
Oh my God.
So at this point, she's like, what do I do? And she's like, code red, like the color of Lawrence's room.
Yeah,
and so,
red flag, red walls.
So the neighbors, I guess at some point either hear what's going on, or maybe Liz goes to the neighbors looking for help. I'm not too sure. But they hear about it, and they suggest that the family goes and talks to the local minister named David Holmwood.
Okay.
And David ends up gathering all of their items throughout the house that when he comes to visit them, at least, he gathers everything that could be a potential gateway or a portal for this bad activity to be continuing. So that includes the books on occult on the occult that Bill has recently been buying, any of his darker art.
Paintings.
So, and then Minister David, he takes all this and just sets it on fire outside.
Oh.
Which, like, apparently you're not supposed to do that, right?
I don't know, but I mean, I feel like that's a dangerous.
Don't they
move?
say, like, never set a Ouija board on fire, which is also a gateway?
I do believe you're not supposed to set a Ouija board on fire, from what I've learned, but I'm not positive. I feel like I've heard that.
Well, so he sets everything on fire. Allegedly, one of the books that was on fire in the pile ended up flying back out of the pile.
Oh, sorry.
It's a little
I'm trying to get the microphone. Oh, there he is. Okay.
Oh.
Never mind. I was trying to get the camera on Zoom over here, but your high-pitched noise
I
kept
know.
it on you.
Look, I demand people's attention, obviously. Where was I? Oh, so as he's burning all the books and art, allegedly one of the books that was in the pile of fire ended up flying back out of the pile just to hit David in the face. Interesting. As like a fuck you of
I feel
things.
like I'd be like, that's the portal, right? Like that's
I'd be
the
like,
one.
that's proving it. Yes.
It's found its way out.
The activity goes away for a little bit, but it slowly starts coming back. But by this point, because the neighbors knew what was going on, and now a minister has come to the house, paranormal investigators are now starting to hear about this. And also spiritualists, mediums, they're all coming in. In one article, I saw that they were all doing a seance together at one point. One paranormal team did come in and said that the house had 4 entities. It had a woman, which makes sense because the old woman everyone's saying.
Right.
Also 2 men and a dark ancient entity that was haunting Bill specifically.
Oof.
So,
is that the succubus?
Maybe. I don't know.
Like, which one's the succubus? And do the other 2 both have beaks?
It's
What's
the one
happening?
I don't know. None of them had a beak, so maybe the dark ancient entity had a beak and was seducing him. So there's one main exorcist that does come to the house, but I saw in one article that before him, there was another exorcist named John Astor who came to the house, but I didn't really hear much about that experience. The one that people pay most attention to is the exorcist named Eddie Burks, who in the 90s, I guess, really made a name for himself. And he also comes to the house with Maurice Grosse, who worked the Enfield poltergeist case.
Oh, okay.
So they apparently come to drag the evil force into the Christian era.
Come on.
You can do it. We've all had to do
dilly-dally.
it. I guess he said that this, because it was a, quote, ancient deity, it was pre-Christian. And so
How
he was
freaky.
He's bringing this thing into the Christian era so that then the exorcism would work. I don't really know anything about
He's like
religious
baptizing
science.
it.
Yeah, like what? How do you bring something into the Christian world so then that your Christian stuff works? I'm confused. But that's what he did, and it worked. So during the exorcism, Eddie Burks, the exorcist, his tape recorder made a sound like lightning had hit it, but that was the worst activity, and soon the hauntings ended.
Okay.
I guess during this, Bill felt some pressure in his body during the exorcism, as if something might have been leaving him, I guess. But afterwards, the whole house seemed, quote, visibly brighter, and there were no more hauntings.
Wow.
They also, once this was over, like I said, they contested their power bills to Swallock Power Company. And then they stopped pushing them for payment eventually. And even though the hauntings were gone, I think Liz was like, I don't fucking care. I got to get out of here.
I wouldn't want to stay either. I don't blame her.
Yeah, like you really haven't had any good memories there. And they've been there for 6 years at this point.
And it was just scary the whole time. I mean,
yeah. And so she was like, I'm over it. And so they ended up moving. And as an epilogue, like the aftermath, Bill and Liz later on divorced.
Oh,
and
no.
Bill, a while after that, passed away.
Oh.
But so this case of the Hellfire Farm haunting is now featured on a docudrama called True Horror. And apparently, I think it's a 3-episode series, or they got 3 episodes on that show. So like the first episode I know, it wasn't even just like a 1-episode thing and then they went on to another case. They got 3 whole
It's like its own mini-series.
Yeah. And there's a book by Mark Chadburn called Testimony, which is considered as accurate as you can get to the true story, because Mark had actually visited the farm and interviewed the Rich family. He says, quote, when interviewing Bill, he left me alone in his art studio, and I started to feel as though someone was watching me, and I thought I felt something touch the nape of my neck.
Ew.
So even he had a little bit of some spooky stuff happen while he was there. So real quick, while they had all these investigators and spiritualists coming into their house, as well as current journalists and historians, these are some of the reasons why this farm was probably haunted. So this is just a compilation of reasons that either they've been given or we've been given. And many of these theories actually came from when the spiritualists were all coming into the house at the same time. So the first one is that this was the site of a witch coven that performed dark rituals. I feel like that one was kind of expected. Where a dark entity had potentially been summoned and then never banished away after the fact.
So like some satanic ritual situation. Yeah.
Bingo, bango, yeah. The next one, interesting, is that Bill is being haunted by someone he killed in a past life.
Whoa, okay.
Put all the blame on Bill.
Yeah.
And then another is that the spirits were using Lawrence as a channel into our world, but that doesn't, I guess either they did that until Lawrence was gone, and by that point they were so powerful they didn't need him anymore.
Right.
Or that's not true because Lawrence literally left at one point.
Yeah.
So who knows? Another one, I think your favorite will be that Bill had ley lines crossing underneath the bathroom in the house. And he was apparently destined to move into this property and direct the evil spirits through his home.
Wait, why was Bill why did Bill have the ley lines? Don't they just mean the house had ley lines?
Yeah, like Bill's property had ley lines under the bathroom.
Okay.
And it was his job to be there and, I don't know, redirect the spirits around the house.
Okay, I mean, I like the ley line thing. I don't know if Bill's like the conductor, but whatever.
They were making it sound more like it was a destiny situation, so I think it was like you were meant for this.
Like he was drawn there or something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Another one is that a former graveyard had been disturbed during the construction of this house. And this was allegedly confirmed by construction workers later that they found 2 headstones where the current house sits.
Thought you were going to say 2 heads, and I was like, with beaks? Come on, tell me.
No, just the headstones.
Beakless headstones. Got it.
And another reason is apparently in the 1840s, this I think a historian actually confirmed. In the 1840s, a farmer that was hanged nearby was hanged because he had killed someone with an axe and buried him on the farm.
Oh, yikes.
So all that history plus the fact that there might have been a body on the farm. And I think he was like the last person to be hanged in the town or something.
That's dark.
It was a lot of dark history that had something to do with the farm. That could also tie into like Bill having killed someone in his past. Maybe he was the farmer. I don't know.
Interesting.
And then the reason that Bill and Liz go with, they personally believe that they were cursed on a family trip right before buying the farmhouse because they had gone to Egypt and they'd seen the pyramid of Cheops, where they learned about the Egyptian god Horus. And apparently they feel like they did something that disturbed the area or that like some curse from there followed them home. But it would make sense as to why both of them thought they kept seeing someone with a beaked face. It looked like Horus. That's
I feel a little bit like that's kind of problematic, but
I also feel like it's kind of problematic.
Like, I feel like people say, like, oh, I went to Egypt, I've been cursed. It's like, well, it's like the same with Native American burial grounds. It's like, why are you assuming that, like, because it's a different culture, it's been, like, it's full of, like, woo,
I know.
creepiness. So
I know.
I have a hard
but
time
that's
with
that. Another reason that they think that it's because of is because when they were looking at a certain tomb, Liz saw, like, blue and white lasers in her eyes, and they were the same ones they were the same ones that she saw at the barn later.
I mean, and I guess if they're dreaming about Horus, I don't know.
But then they could have just been dreaming about their vacation
because they saw it. Yeah,
I don't know. I don't want to
about their vacation exactly.
Anyway, so I don't know what the deal is, but their personal belief was that it was because they feel like they brought something home from them with Egypt, which yikes, but that is part of the story, so I'm making sure I cover it. It was not what I would think is the reason, but whatever. One time
my I don't know if I'm supposed to tell this story, but I'm going to tell it anyway. One time my grandfather stole a bone from a tomb.
Okay, maybe you shouldn't tell this. Okay, but keep going.
In like the 80s, I think, and from a nun, like it was like a body of a nun, and
this just gets worse.
Yeah, it's just terrible. And so he felt like it had caused him all sorts of problems and he was cursed, so he had my mom drive it back and put it back. So my mom had to take this finger bone and go back and like put it back in the tomb and apologize to the nun.
Oh God, I like how he sent someone else to do his fucking dirty work. Like,
I'm like, Mom, I feel like you are such a sucker. He has 8 kids and you're the one that agreed to do this.
Also, I feel like if he doesn't want to bring it back himself, then that's on him. Even if Renata like apologized full-heartedly, it's like it wasn't her apology to give.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You're still screwed, my guy. Like that was apparently a lot of people will steal rocks from like spaces that are considered vortexes,
like holy or sacred. Vortexes.
Or like energy vortexes, like Sedona. They apparently have like. I think they have like the ranger has like a PO box or something for people to send rocks back at when they feel guilty for having stolen part of the mountain.
It's like at Robert the Doll where they have a mailbox for people to apologize to Robert if they took his picture without consent.
Anyway,
so Lordy, this is a weird world we live in.
Well, I'm glad your grandfather knows somebody who righted his wrong, but also
if anyone needs help, I guess Renata's willing to just fix your situation.
From a tomb, a finger, or what was it?
Yeah, finger bone.
That's so fucked up.
I know.
That's so
Trust me.
up.
I'm like, what is the matter with this guy?
But it's back, correct? Like
It's
in
back,
case like
yes.
the person who like is the overseer of that tomb watches
He's like, I've
this
been
or
missing a
listens to this.
finger. No, it's
But
back.
like his finger has looked weird for a decade. What's been going on? All right.
No,
well,
yeah, the nun's finger is back. This has been decades ago, so.
Jeez Louise. Well,
Yeah.
We're probably fine now.
We're
probably
fingers
fine.
crossed? Question mark? Who knows?
Oh God. Anyway, that is the story of the Hail Fanog, or aka Hellfire Farm.
That's a good one. I feel like this is one of those that I could picture myself having a nightmare about that fucking creepy bird person. Not Horus, but like the bird person.
A different, not as handsome.
The other
bird
beaked
man.
entity. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just feel like that's very creepy, and I'm not like super into it, if you're asking. So,
you know, you have said that you've used that phrase or that inflection enough times that now a lot of times Eva and I will pretend that we're you when something weird happens, and we'll go,
No way.
I mean, I don't love it.
I do say that so often. Oh,
I feel like when I was with Eva when we were on our way to surprise you, I feel like I said that like 3 or 4 times around her.
That's so embarrassing.
I don't love it.
I mean, I don't love it. Yeah, I say that all the fucking time. Oh boy. Okay. Well, I'll come up with a new one, I guess, a new slogan.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I have a story for you today. It is called The Burger Chef Murders.
I love burgers.
I know you do. I love salads. Not telling you, stupid salad. I'm so mad about that.
Let's try the burger thing this time.
Okay, let's try with burgers. So, we are in Indianapolis in 1978. And according to Indianapolis Monthly, I'm just going to give you a little summation of what happened during this time. It was 1978, and according to Indianapolis Monthly, for people living in Indianapolis in 1978, the year must have seemed like the last they'd ever see. That January, a historic blizzard buried the city beneath almost 2 feet of snow that 40 miles per hour winds whipped into 20-foot drifts. The National Guard was called out. 11 Hoosiers died. And if you're not familiar, Hoosier is the word for
the name
a
of the
person
people
who,
there.
Yeah, lives like a Yinzer in Pittsburgh.
Fun fact that also makes sense here. My hometown name, we're called Fredericksburgers.
Fredericksburgers. I love that.
Speaking of the burger chef
That's
guy.
fun.
Okay.
Did you ever abbreviate it to just like some burgers, or was it always Fredericksburgers?
No, burgers. I would like to think
burgers.
if we had like a team name, we would call ourselves the Burgers.
I love that. You should make like a minor league baseball team, the Fredericksburg Burgers.
Well, we have the Fred Nats, but one of the things that minor league baseball does is they have like this like food week every year where they like all represent a different food. And so I would like to think that the Fred Nats will get like a chance at being called the Burgers for a week. They're so brand new that they haven't gotten to be a part of it yet. So I'd like to think that they will claim. Actually, I know the person in marketing there. I'm going to tell them.
Well, Blaze's team in Hartford, they do the steamed cheeseburgers because that's the local Connecticut food. So you already got a burger on the table. It has to be a different burger.
We'll figure it out.
Okay. So 11 Hoosiers died that winter. In July of 1978, a man shot a woman named Julia Cyphers at her home. She was trying to show him some items she was selling out at a garage sale, and he went into her home and shot her. There were also a series of explosions in trash receptacles, a cornfield, and a bowling alley. And this Indianapolis was just like struggling, for lack of a better word.
It doesn't sound good. Yeah.
Yeah. Every month it felt like some new tragedy was occurring. Unfortunately.
Jeez, and what year was this? 78?
Yes, 78.
Okay.
And unfortunately, they did not know that another tragic occurrence would happen pretty shortly after, called the Burger Chef Murders. And this took place at a burger joint called Burger Chef, which was located at 5725 Crawfordsville Road. And it was the year 1978. As you can probably guess, Burger Chef was a fast food burger chain. It was started in Indianapolis in 1954, and they were known for their double burgers, which were called the Big Chef. But the chef was spelled S-H-E-F. I don't totally get that.
Oh.
But
I don't like that.
I don't like it either for some reason. It throws me off. The quarter pound hamburgers were called the Super Chefs, also with an SH. And the following, here are their slogans, okay?
Okay.
Just for funsies. 1980 to 1996, their slogan was "Nowhere else but Burger Chef." Okay. Some of them are just really weird. That one's fine. Some of them get weird. 1976 to 1980, "We really give you the works." And then a second one was, this one's weird. "Open wide, America. You never can forget. You get more to like at Burger Chef." Okay.
Ooh, I hate it.
I hate it so much. And like weirdly, Burger Chef is spelled CHEF, but like their food is spelled SHEF. It's just strange. I don't know.
Oh, someone had a really fun time on their first job of marketing at
100%. And like
they were like, "I'm bringing ideas. They're not good, but they're ideas."
They are technically ideas. And the person in charge of them was like in a new romantic relationship and was like, "Do whatever you want. I'm busy texting my lover." Okay.
Yeah.
So then from 71 to 76, they just did "You get more to like at Burger Chef." Plain simple.
Okay. Yeah, they were like, "We got to reel this shit in."
You got to reel it in. And then from 70 to 71, there's more to like at Burger Chef. Okay. And then their final one, which I also find weird, is "Burger Chef goes all out to please your family." It's like, why are you doing this?
It's just so long. It's just,
it's
you
so
could just
long.
say "We go all out." Okay.
Yeah. Or you could just say, "There's more to like at Burger Chef." Okay. End of
You know
story.
what's a fun game, by the way? Like, I know we're already like literally doing it right now, but during quarantine, one of my favorite things that RJ and Allison and I would play when we first started being in the house all day is we would quiz each other on old slogans of fast food restaurants.
So fun. Have you played that game? There's like a game, I think it's called Logos or something, where it's like all different fast foods or like companies, and you try to match like either the logo or the slogan. I don't know. It's fun.
Oh, no, I haven't played an official version, but I literally Googled like fast food slogans because you don't ever hear about some of them. And like there's other ones that you hear so faintly that you know it's from somewhere, but you don't know where.
Like, they're familiar. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
it's always fun to see like how your subconscious, because I feel like sometimes your subconscious knows it and you're like, how did I know that? But it's like, because the marketing fucks with your head so much.
Anyway, if you're on a road trip right now, or if you're just bored in the house, after you listen to this episode all the way through, by the way, then go Google like fast food slogans and quiz whoever is next to you.
No, what you have to do is go on Sporkle. They have a really good one. They have several
Sporkle.
really good. Sporkle has some very good fast food slogan quizzes and logo quizzes. Just fun fact.
Good for them.
Anyway, so one interesting Burger Chef anecdote from Wikipedia goes as follows. In the early 1970s, the chain introduced the Fun Burger and the Fun Meal with packaging.
Okay.
I know. With packaging that included stories about Burger Chef and Jeff's adventures and friends, including the Magician Burgerini, Vampire Count Fang Burger, Talking Ape Burgerilla, and Cackle Burger the Witch. Who's me? Cackle Burger the Witch.
I'm sorry. His name is Burger Chef Jeff.
Burger Chef and Jeff. Burger Chef and
random fucking Jeff.
And Jeff's there too.
And like Burger Chef had a friend named Jeff, and Jeff was like, "Include me."
It's
Jeff was a Gemini, and but they were into some spooky stuff.
Jeff was a mongoose, spelled G-E-F.
Burger Chef Fun
and Jeff's
Meals.
Adventures.
Oh, I'm totally gonna look that up later. I'm putting that down now so I can Google it later. That's so
Em says,
fun.
I'm looking this up later, as like they're clearly typing.
No, I was typing it in so I can check it out later. My ADHD, I will never remember if I don't type it in now. So.
Oh, I have photos and stuff I can text you as well. They're in my little appendix here.
So fun.
Yeah, so they had this fun... So Cackleburger the Witch is me. You can be Jeff.
Yes. Okay. I am, by the way.
You are Jeff.
I already claimed Jeff as my own before anything else.
Jeff spoke to you directly immediately.
So does that mean, hang on, in 1973, does that mean that they created children's meals?
Oh, it sure does, friendo. You really called that. You really called that.
History.
Because so they had these stories and like these fun meals, they called them, with riddles, puzzles, and small toys. So then when McDonald's introduced their Happy Meal in 1979, Burger Chef sued and ultimately lost. And they ended up going out of business.
Well done.
So McDonald's really fucked them over.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
fact.
so they had fun meals. Then McDonald's came out with Happy Meals. Burger Chef sued McDonald's. They lost. And Burger Chef ultimately went out of business in 96.
Wow.
And here, I have a photo of, here, I'm going to text you a photo of Jeff. I found one.
Oh, please do. Who is Jeff? You have not even told me this yet.
I told you, he's the friend of Burger Chef, and they go on adventures.
I know. I didn't know if that was like, oh, is he like the Ronald McDonald? Is that what this is? Oh, he's literally looks like Ronald McDonald. What a creepy little kid.
Yeah, that's you.
I love him. I mean, he's so, I mean, this is just such a dumb picture. We have to put this as our.
He's so creepy.
He's so stupid.
Also, I love that they're making 2 hamburger patties. Like, they have like this whole grill. I'm like gonna cry laughing. This is so funny.
It's literally the size of the polka dots on their apron.
This old man named Burger Chef wearing glasses who doesn't look much like a mascot. He just kind of looks like an old man. And then this creepy ass redheaded kid with like giant eyes and no pupils named Jeff.
He looks like a Playmobil.
Yes, he does look like a Playmobil. He does, 100%. But also, Burger Chef has pupils and Jeff doesn't, which like disturbs me.
Burger Chef looks like every single person's father, and Jeff looks like nobody I've ever
Jeff
met
looks
or
like
want
a demonic
to meet.
entity. I don't know what else to tell you.
I think the glasses really help Burger Chef from looking so dead inside, but Jeff looks like one looks more human and one looks more puppet, and the fact that they're next to each other doing the same thing
doesn't make sense that they're best friends. It just doesn't. I'm sorry.
Also, it really doesn't make sense that they're best friends with such an age gap. It's making me really have questions about Burger Chef. Burger Chef. And also, but the thing that's even creepier is in the background there's a literal actual human making burgers, and so it's like watching.
You're right. You're completely right.
It's like watching one person do the same job as 2 mannequins. It's very creepy.
And the mannequins are like not doing a good job. You can just tell.
Like there's no way Chef is gonna flip that burger patty, or Jeff is gonna.
No, there's no way. He doesn't have pupils. Like, what the hell? How is he going to see it?
Also, nothing is creepier to me than a mascot that's supposed to be human. It's very, like, uncanny valley situation.
It's not good. Yeah.
If a mascot is, like, a cartoon animal, fine. But when it's supposed to look more human, it freaks me out. I'm going to make this my desktop background. Jeff is so fucking creepy. I can't take it. This is going to ruin me.
Anyway, I want to find a full size of Cackle Burger the Witch. I just wish...
my literal background right now on my laptop, just so you know.
Okay, I'm going to look up this later. There's a YouTube video called Burger Chef and Jeff Meet Cackleburger the Witch. And that's basically you and the weird old man meet me at the burger joint. And I can't wait to watch it.
Thank God.
So, wow, I fully set myself into a contraction with my laughing fit. So that's excellent.
I hope, please God, let your baby be born now so you have to tell them about Burger Chef Jeff.
Em keeps doing this. Every time we're watching something stupid, which happens every 5 seconds, Em's like, imagine if your water breaks right now and you have to tell your child that you were watching. Let's see, there was Ghost Adventures Quarantine. There was Are You the One? There was that horrible Sexy
You'll have
Beast
to
show.
Name your baby Jeff, I'm pretty sure. Like, oh, little baby Jeff. Oh, so sweet.
Little baby Jeff. Horrible. No offense to Jeffs out there, but I really can't unsee the non-pupil Playmobil creature that we just looked at.
It's a lot.
So anyway, that's just a fun fact about Burger Chef. Unfortunately for all of us, the chain closed in 96, so that's pretty tragic. Em's never going to recover, I can tell.
I tried looking up Burger Chef Cackle Witch and I didn't see anything. So
don't worry. I have the video queued up, so I'm going to watch it after this.
Okay, perfect.
And I'll send you some screen grabs. So you'd think that this like whole Cackle situation, this whole Jeff situation would be like the biggest dramatic incident in Burger Chef history. Unfortunately, no, because there was some real life tragedy as well. Weirdly enough, this murder took place the day before Jim Jones orchestrated his, memorable mass murder via...
Is that why we don't really know much about this? Because Jim Jones like totally took over the airwaves?
I don't think I thought so at first too, but it was a much smaller scale situation.
Okay.
I think it just happened to be the day before.
Gotcha.
I mean,
okay.
perhaps, but I don't know. It seems like it's a pretty local story to where it is. I don't know. People
Okay.
in Indianapolis, let us know if you know about this already, because if it is like a local story, it might be just more well known there. So, okay, day before the mass murder at Jonestown in Guyana. It was Friday, November 17th, 1978. And there's a Medium article written by Sal Wrights, and it goes as follows to describe what happened. Quote, at around midnight, an off-duty employee of the Burger Chef branch located in Speedway, Indiana, came by the restaurant and noticed something strange. The lights of the restaurant were still on and the door was unlocked. Upon further investigation, he found that 4 people on shift that day were nowhere to be found, and the safe where the restaurant's daily earnings were kept was also open, with around $580 missing. So 4 employees all gone. Today, that's about $2,000 in the safe that was missing. And this is where it just gets sadder and sadder, because the 4 people who had been working that day and who had gone missing were as follows. Assistant manager Jane Freet, who was 20, Daniel Davis, who was 16, Mark Flemons, who was 16, and Ruth Shelton, who was 17. So 4 very young people, just sad. I'm going to tell you about the 4 of them. There is a writer named Nikki M on Arcadia Publishing, and she wrote kind of a little write-up about each of these. I say kids, they're not necessarily kids. Some of them are adults, but it was like a group of kids. Like, they were friends and they were young. So here is a little bit about each of them. Here's a little write-up about Jane, who was the assistant manager. Jane's career with the fast food franchise began when she was a 17-year-old student at Avon High School. She started working for Burger Chef before transferring to the Speedway location in the spring of '78. Everyone who encountered, this is kind of weird, the long-haired, dimpled young lady. Okay.
Huh. Interesting writing.
Specific on the physical aspect, but
yep.
Known as Sweet Jane, said she was a happy person who was always ready to tell or laugh at a joke. She had a zany smile that always reminded me of Lily Tomlin, because when she smiled, her eyes would crinkle up into these crescent moon shapes, said Lori Shufflebarger, who was a year behind Jane in high school and frequently ate lunch with her at the same table in the cafeteria. She was well-rounded, did a number of activities. She was on yearbook staff, pep club, drama, gymnastics. She worked as a library assistant and also did her part-time Burger Chef job on top of getting good grades and being really active in school.
Jeez.
And was like the assistant manager. She's like kicking ass.
Wow.
So now there's the second young woman, Ruth Ellen Shelton, who was also 17, was very poised, professional, went to Northwest High School. And when she wasn't working in the Burger Chef dining room, she was an honor student who took STEM-related classes, which was very rare for girls at the time in the 70s to be in like STEM classes. It was not as common.
Yeah.
So she took a lot of STEM classes. She was pursuing a double major in business and math, even though she was in high school, but she was like preparing her class load because she wanted to pursue a double major in business and math to get into a good college, and she wanted to work in computer science.
Jeez, okay, so Burger Chef was really churning out some like real power women.
That's the place to go if you're like a talent scout for like Apple. I guess Burger Chef is where to go.
Apparently so. Like that's just Burger Chef is a one-way ticket to San Francisco, I guess. In the
Silicon Valley. From Burger Chef to Silicon Valley. I can see it now.
I know.
So classmates said Ruth Ellen was a quiet, studious, and creative girl. She studied voice at University of Indianapolis, which back then was called Indiana Central University. She worked in the youth ministry at her church. She loved her fellowship group, and like other girls her age, she had younger siblings and was really close with them. She filled her diary with details of her life, and apparently that like one of the last entries, which was Christmas of 1977, she recounted all of the gifts she received for Christmas, but concluded with the realization that she learned how much she loved her mom and dad.
Oh, God. Wow. Jesus. That's
I know.
So fucking sad.
I know. It's fucking horrible. Can you imagine? I mean, I don't even want to probably go there, but too late. Can you imagine if like you lose somebody really close to you and then like for example, like a fucking 17-year-old, and then you go through their diary and find like wow, I just love my mom and dad. So, I mean, it's just
It does feel a little
heart-wrenching.
like a message from beyond the grave, which
Yeah,
I think
yeah, that's true.
I would definitely find a way to place more importance on it than there probably was. But like
Yeah, that's true.
but still like for that to be like one of the last things you see your kids saying about you behind closed doors, like I can't imagine how gutted you've got to be.
Yes,
Like
yes, gutting, exactly. But you're right, that probably ended up being a comfort in the long run. At least I hope so.
yeah.
Okay, so now there's Mark Flemons. He's 16. He was, now get this, he was the youngest of 7 children born to Robert and Blondell Flemons. That was his mother's name.
Now, Blondell, I'm gonna take a stab at it. Blondell sounds like she knows how to throw down. I just feel like that's, you know how some people are meant to have a name. Like I feel like you can't have a name like Blondell without being just
You
2 tons
you
of
live
fun.
up to that name, and we know it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Blondell Flemons. I don't know
Okay.
what her maiden name was, but wow, Blondell Flemons was meant to
It'd be funny if it was Brunette Dell.
Blondell Brunette. What the fuck?
I don't know. It took a long time though. I don't know. Shut up, Christine.
What if it was like Smith though? It was like Blondell Smith, and it was like Blondell Flemons.
No,
I feel like
there's no way. There's no way. Maybe it was like Burger Chef Jeff or something. I don't know.
it could have been Jeff. I'm Blondell. You can be Jeff. I'm Blondell.
You're Cackle Witch or whatever.
I'm
her name is.
Cackleburger. You're right. Okay, so Blondell. Eva can be Blondell.
Stop saying Blondell. I can't take it anymore.
So, okay, interestingly enough, Blondell and Mark, the parents, were devout Jehovah's Witnesses. So I guess actually maybe they didn't throw down as much as we'd hoped.
Wow. We gave Blondell a lot of airtime.
And also Blondell was probably like, don't paint me in this light. I was not a partier. I'm against this. I don't even celebrate holidays. I'm a Jehovah's Witness.
Right. Yeah,
Sorry.
she's a sister elder or whatever she is. Sorry.
Blondell and Mark raised 7 children. And, Mark was the child. Robert and Blondell were the parents. My bad.
Okay.
Mark was the youngest of their 7 children. And although Mark had some trouble adjusting to high school and struggling through freshman year, he was doing a good job. He had like kind of come up and like made his way and like survived that hard transition into high school. It's kind of weird. They described it as follows. Speedway high school officials were convinced that the friendly boy who took pride in his appearance would make it after all. It's like, oh, okay.
Who's writing all of these little setups? Like that's
kind of like digs. I don't know.
Yeah. It's like I can't even think of a day. I feel like whatever they'd have to say about me would be so mean.
Yeah, yours would be like, well, they were okay.
It's like I like how John Mulaney's like, I love how you'll just wear anything.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I feel like that was like
exactly
so
like
brave to wear the same shirt
compliment.
twice.
Yeah, it's like he took great care of his appearance. Everyone was surprised he got a B sometimes in school. It's like, whoa.
M smells so nice once they finally get in the fucking shower later today. Like
which we're still waiting for to this very day.
Yes.
So that was Juniper. Sorry, Junie's playing Hike Mount Everest on my leg right now. Okay.
Fun.
Yeah, it is super fun for everybody but me. Okay. So that was Mark. His father was also very encouraged by the grades he was getting now. And despite, I guess, combing his hair all the time or whatever, like a boy in the 70s did to care for his appearance. And so he let his son take a job at the Burger Chef to make some money on the side. This upsets me because my sister is 16, turning 17, and has 2 jobs. And I'm like, you would just never think like, oh, this is a dangerous, life-threatening thing I'm putting my child
think
through.
about everyone that's got a 16-year-old at high school right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like, yeah.
I'm saying
I'm saying like especially in America where like school shootings are so dangerous. Like imagine just like having a teenager and being like, oh, you're going somewhere that should be fine and safe.
Yes,
and
exactly. It's like you don't think you're not sending them off to
day.
like party. Like you're sending them off to do responsible work and make some money. And it's just scary. So he got this job. Then Daniel is the final kid. He's a junior at Decatur Central High School. He loved to laugh, tell jokes, have a good time. He had just started on this shift, on Friday night shift, and the week before, which is also like Ouch. He had a passion for photography. He even had a dark room at his house. He was also fascinated with aviation and planned to enlist in the U.S. Air Force after high school. He was a model employee like the other three, and they never gave their manager any trouble. And so all four of these kids, according to the manager, easily worked between 20 and 30 hours each week while maintaining their grades, and they had earned their manager's trust. When he thought about it, he could not remember a time that any of them had been late for their shifts. They were truly an exceptional crew.
Aw.
So,
and also, like
dagger to the heart.
Yeah, again, like, just churning out power forces of just like, oh, they were good kids, they were good workers.
The manager's like, holy shit, all four of them were exceptional employees. It's just fucking awful. So I guess I'll tell you what happens now. All right.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I guess I have to. So the police were called to the scene. This is another one of those where you get angry. Sorry in advance.
Great.
The police were called to the scene of the crime. They found 2 empty currency bags and an empty roll of adhesive tape next to the open safe. There were also 2 purses left behind in the restaurant. Some of the employees' jackets were missing, and the assistant manager, Jane, the first young woman I talked about, her 1974 Chevy Vega was missing, the car. So from wallets to coats, Mark, Jane, Daniel, and Ellen each had something important left in the restaurant, and it seemed inconsistent because it was like, why would this one leave her purse here and this one take her employee jacket? Like, it was just odd, like the things that were left behind and the things that were missing.
Right. Immediately I would think that this was like some sort of like personal hit if like they weren't getting robbed of all the
they were missing along with like very specific of their own items. It's just weird. It's just weird. Especially because, like, if they had left of their own volition, you'd think they'd take their purses with them.
Right.
So they basically took a look around and immediately concluded the case. They said the youngsters had gone for a joyride. They'd taken the money out of the safe and went out partying. The end.
Even though we just spent the last, like, half an hour hearing how wonderful and trustworthy they are. Okay.
So they decided this is not urgent. There's no investigation needed. They closed the case. And because the restaurant was due to be open that morning, they brought the next shift of employees in and had them clean the restaurant as usual before the shift.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Getting rid of all evidence.
Getting rid of any evidence that could have been there.
Fucking kidding me.
They literally brought them in to mop and were like, just clean up and go back to work. God. Without four employees just missing. And several of them minors. Like, ooh. So the police left the burger chef with one photograph of the scene. And the burger chef was reopened as if nothing had ever happened.
So they didn't even like take any evidence?
They didn't even take pictures.
Photos? Okay.
No. Okay. It's horrifying, and I'm going to tell you right now, I'm just going to tell you to warn you in advance, this is an unsolved case, which makes it even more infuriating.
Thank you for telling me, because I would have just been getting angrier and angrier waiting for the answer.
For the resolution. I know. Because when I was researching this, I was like, I cannot wait to figure out who and then it's like, oh.
You just don't get to do
We're screwed. Yeah.
Okay, great.
So, obviously, at some point, evidence cropped up pretty quickly that suggested maybe they didn't just go for a joyride and something bad actually happened, because the families of all 4 of these kids were like, none of our children came home today.
Right.
And
what's
the
going
police
on?
are like, maybe they're not out for a joyride where none of them returned home afterward. So that, and the fact that the Chevy Vega that Jane owned was discovered later in the morning, abandoned about 1.5 miles south, was another red flag. So this was an indicator that foul play was involved, and authorities began considering the possibility that maybe instead of culprits, these 4 were actually victims of a kidnapping.
Yeah.
Surprise. No shit. So 2 days later, Sunday, November 19th, a few hikers discovered 4 bodies. It's just bad. All of whom had been brutally murdered.
Oh my God. Do we know that it was them?
Yes.
Oh.
Because it was only 4 days later. So they called the police, who were able to confirm that the bodies were those of the 4 missing Burger Chef employees. They had been discovered 20 miles away from the Burger Chef restaurant. I want to give a little warning here. This is pretty brutal. I'm just going to describe how they were killed. An autopsy revealed that Ruth and Daniel had been shot repeatedly with a .38 caliber revolver. Jane was stabbed so violently that the blade of the knife broke inside her chest. I know. I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
That's from a Medium article. And now this one's bad too. Mark's autopsy concluded that he was beaten to death by a chain-like object and ultimately passed away by choking on his own blood.
Oh my God.
I know. Really
also,
violent.
like, the variety freaks me out. It freaks me out like that. Like it was experimental. Like, I don't know if that makes sense.
It makes me think like... it might have been more than one person, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Yeah, to me, like, being killed that many different ways makes me feel like my first gut instinct is it's some random sicko who just wanted to like kill someone in a bunch of different ways and did them all at once.
I don't think so, because we do find out why Mark was killed by beating. Okay. At least we have a theory that we learn why Mark was killed that way, and then why the other two were shot and stabbed. So I'll get to that, but yeah, it is weird, and it makes me think there's maybe two perpetrators instead of one, but like maybe one had a gun, one had a knife. I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, it is weird. So police found valuables such as watches and money on the victims, who were still wearing their Burger Chef uniforms. And this led police to believe that the motive was more than just robbery, because they didn't even take their valuables after they killed them. So the case was moved to be one of the highest priority, and the Indianapolis police launched into a full-blown investigation. And there's an article on Insider that reports the community tried to help find the killer and console those who knew the victims. Burger Chef, an Indianapolis-based chain, posted a reward of $25,000 for information leading to the arrest. And some people still thought this might have been a burglary. Oh my God, Christine. I just combined burglary and burger and robbery. Okay, sorry.
Have you watched those videos of people with Scottish accents or Irish accents
you
trying
were
to
telling
say
me
burglary?
this last week.
They like can't get it together.
I still haven't seen it, but you told me about that last week.
It's really funny because I guess they like roll their R's that sound like L's, and so burglary is like
it's a lot. It's a lot of very close together. Yeah. Well, apparently I say burglary, which yikes. Okay, like worst placed pun. That was not intentional, I promise. I meant a robbery or a burglary. So they thought this could have been a robbery gone wrong, and that one of the theories was that during the robbery, one of the robbers realized they knew Mark, who wasn't supposed to be working that evening, and panicked, kidnapped, and murdered them. So that was one of the theories. Oh,
shit. Okay,
so
that's a solid one, I think.
I would say so, yeah, especially because he wasn't meant to be there. Like, he was new on the shift. I don't know.
Right.
But at the same time, the Indiana State Trooper Jim Kramer was like, why would somebody kill 4 kids, though? Like, it still seems like an extreme reaction to a robbery.
Right.
And an extremely violent one. Like,
extremely violent.
It's not
Holy
just like
crap.
shooting them and leaving them behind the building. It's like driving them away, like violently attacking them.
Yeah, I would like to think if I well, again, I feel like I play this game every fucking time we record. It's like, I'm not a murderer, so I don't know. But if it were like just a random, they wanted to get this one guy and then they had to like begrudgingly kill 3 others, I think they would try to do it in the quickest, least intimate way possible versus like every single one of you is going to die so aggressively.
And everyone has to get in the car so that we drive you somewhere else. Like, it just seems so like too drawn out. Yeah, I agree. So I thought that was odd as well. An anonymous tip came through from an alleged witness who said that they had seen 2 white men, both of average height, at the restaurant on the night of the crime. One had a beard and the other was clean shaven with fair hair. And they created like sketches of these people based on the eyewitnesses' testimony, but they didn't garner any new leads. So things kind of dried up until a man who was drinking at a bar in Greenwood, Indiana, sort of let slip to another patron that he was responsible for the Burger Chef murders.
Oh, was he? That's a weird thing to brag about.
For him.
At the very least, you got away with it. Keep your mouth
Tell us more.
Shut.
Right.
Like,
it's like, I will never understand that.
The confidence, I got away with it.
The idiocy and the confidence,
And now I'm going to get away with it again by talking about it and admitting it?
So dumb.
What are you talking about? Okay.
So he was brought in for interrogation and a polygraph test, but it was determined pretty quickly that he was not even involved at all. He was just bragging, which, by the way,
fuck you.
Why the fuck would you do that and like brag that you were involved when you weren't? It's beyond me.
Yeah.
So though he had been objectively unhelpful, the man did hand over knowledge to the police about a gang he knew about who was committing fast food chain robberies around the area. So he gave information about the people he knew were involved, hoping that maybe there was some crossover and the people he knew robbing restaurants were the same people robbing this restaurant. So they suddenly had these new descriptions and they continued the investigation and they found a man that perfectly fit the description of the bearded man that the eyewitness said they had seen at the restaurant that night. And coincidentally, when they brought him in for questioning, he shaved his beard the night before for the first time in 5 years.
Oh. Huh. That's magically convenient.
Very convenient.
Magically convenient.
Yes.
Okay, well...
That's the next Burger Chef slogan. Magically convenient.
That actually, for a fast food restaurant would be pretty nice.
Excuse me, it's better than like your family will be okay and we'll have a decent time here at this Burger Chef. Where we
try really hard here, and also so does Jeff.
And also so does Jeff, and stop judging the lack of pupils that he has. Okay. So they also found a clean-shaven man who matched the original description of the other guy that was with the bearded guy, and he was doing jail time for robbing fast food restaurants.
Oh, okay, so that is kind of a lead,
It's a good
right?
lead, yeah. And for whatever reason, they couldn't find any evidence, and by whatever reason, I mean because they literally vacuumed and mopped the entire restaurant.
Right, for whatever reason. Is that
some mysterious
how magically
reason.
inconvenient,
Magically
by the way.
inconvenient reason, thank you. So, fucking A, that was a dead end, which is like, that could very well be who it was, but we just don't fucking know because they don't have any evidence to tie to this guy. Pisses me off.
Which, like, can you imagine if you were the guy who committed that and then you find out that they got rid of all evidence?
You're like,
and
hell
you're like,
yeah.
Whoo, dodged a bullet.
Everything got vacuumed up. Yeah, terrible. So on March 5th, 1981, an undercover Indianapolis police officer arrested a 30-year-old man on charges of conspiracy to sell cocaine. His name was James Freet, and he was the brother of the Burger Chef victim Jane Freet.
Oh, okay.
So when they interviewed him, they were like, maybe he has some connection to Jane's disappearance and murder because he had this like really strong involvement with this drug ring. And unfortunately, James denied having anything to, not unfortunately that he didn't have anything to do with it, but unfortunately it was just another dead end that he was never charged. But it was just another weird coincidence that her brother pretty shortly after was arrested for being deep into a drug ring. So they were thinking,
I would have thought for sure that would have been a really nice lead. So
it feels like all these are like very good steps in the right direction, and then they're just dead ends again because for some magically inconvenient reason.
Right.
So later in the spring of 1981, 2 prison guards working at the Marion County Jail observed a quarrel between James Freet, the brother, and a man named Alan Pruitt. So James, the brother of Jane, said, "You need to talk to Pruitt about the murder of my sister. He knows something." Oh, shit. And they were like, aha, that's why they're fighting, because James says this guy knows something about the murder of his sister. So according to that Insider article I mentioned earlier, Pruitt told the officers that on November 17th, 1978, he had witnessed 2 men abduct the victims in an orange van and Jane's white Chevy Vega. Drunk and swaying outside the Dunkin' Donuts next door, Pruitt figured the men, whose names were Tim Willoughby and Jeff Reed, were just some young people heading out to party, even though, as he told the investigators, he saw one of them slam Mark Flemon's face into the side of the van.
Oh, shit.
And he's like, oh, but they're just probably all going out to a party together.
They're just being silly.
They're so silly, these guys. Yeah.
Jeez.
And so he was like, I believe that these 2 were the murderers. I saw them dragging these kids into the car. I assume they were all going to a party together, even though one of them was really rough with one of the guys. This is another like
dead end
punch in the wall. Ugh. Perhaps worse. It turns out that he had completely made up the story and lied to police. Because they pissed him off and he just wanted to send them in the wrong direction. And it's did you have to do that for the sake of the family too? Like, it's one thing to piss the police off. It's another to like steer a case wrong for your own benefit. So he said, they really pissed me off. They started bugging me and hounding me and pushing me and pushing me and pushing me. I just got to the point. I finally just started telling them anything they wanted to hear. If I knew who killed them kids, don't think for a split second that I wouldn't rat them out, because I would. So they were like, shit, he lied, and this is another dead end. And they would not have another lead for 8 more years.
Years? Oh
8
my God.
years.
Wow.
So it's just so infuriating again that like, okay, all the DNA was gone. Anything they could have salvaged was now compromised because even if they did find a hair or something left over, there were all these other employees that had been working there and they had opened the restaurant for the day. So it's like nothing, everything was contaminated. At
this point, like, this is not professional, but I would just be like, I give up. Like, I would be like, well, there's no
like
leads.
How do you even go forward? Yeah.
I would be like, because of my own negligence, this has to remain a cold case.
You need like a confession or something. Like that's the only way you're gonna get anywhere.
Yeah, truly. I mean, they didn't have. I already know the answer. They didn't have security cameras then, right?
No, at least not that I read anywhere. Yeah, I think this
because that would have really solved some answers.
Yeah. I think that would have been too convenient for the story.
For this whole story to still be a mystery,
to be completely unsolved. Yeah. So another fun fact that is just so infuriating is that remember when I said they took one photograph of the scene before they left? It wasn't even a good picture, or what?
It
was blurry. No, it's actually worse. So it's the photograph that they took. Apparently, according to one investigator named Tom Davidson, it surfaced that the picture wasn't taken when the police initially responded to the crime scene. Instead, the officers later returned to the restaurant and staged things after the fact, after the restaurant had already opened to customers.
That is beyond negligent.
They just went back after everyone had already been eating there and then reset up the scene and took a photo.
That's so...
From memory.
At that point, why would you even set up, like, you're literally taking a picture of a fake crime scene.
Making up a crime scene because it's by memory. You don't have a photograph to go off of. You're like, wow, oh, this was over there. This was over there.
That could not be dumber. What fucking police chief was like, that's the plan we're going to go with?
They're like, did you get any photos? No, go back and get one. But everything's moved. Put it back. Like, what do you mean put it back? There's people eating burgers right there.
Okay. So we have negative evidence.
Now we're going backwards. Exactly. Because now this photograph, like, could not ever be used as evidence because it's like any good attorney would be like, well, you staged this, right? Yeah. Okay. Truly. Out the window. It's not evidence. Right. What the fuck evidence is that? Yeah.
I know.
So on January 9th of 1989, police were interviewing a convicted rapist named Donald Forrester. And all of a sudden, he started to chit-chat a little bit about these Burger Chef murders. And he was currently 7 years into a 95-year sentence for stalking, abducting, and raping a woman in Castleton. And his name had actually come up in the tip line a few times. So when he started chit-chatting about the Burger Chef murders, they were like, we gotta actually write this down this time.
Someone take one fucking note for this
Take
case.
A photograph or something, anything. So on January 9th of 1989, that was when they were interviewing him. And according to an article in Insider, in reference to Indiana State Trooper Jim Kramer's account, there's some gore here, just FYI. Donald Forrester, the convicted rapist, told police he was involved with a drug gang. The murders, he said, were a hit over a debt that Jane, the assistant manager, owed. When he and his accomplices rushed the restaurant's back door that night, Mark tried to play hero. And Mark was the one who had been beaten to death with the chain.
Okay.
And so he said he and his accomplices nearly beat him to death while the other kids were bound with wire and forced into a waiting van. They were all begging, he said. That night in the woods, Forrester said he popped some Demerols, and Demerol is a narcotic, for those who don't know, stooped down where Ruth was lying and shot her in the face.
In front of everybody else in the van?
Yeah, or in the woods, but yeah.
Oh my God.
Then he stabbed Jane down low with his hunting knife, end quote.
Oh my God.
Ooh. So,
and does he give a reason for why?
Well, just that he burst in. Okay, I'll read the first line again. The murders were... No, you're fine. It's a lot. The murders were a hit over a debt that Jane owed. So he's saying
Okay.
Jane had a debt to this drug ring, which I'm kind of like, Jane...
I feel like it was like actually like a... Kind of like how, me being a mobster.
Tell me all about it.
Well, like usually it's like if someone owes you something, they just will hurt your family instead.
Right.
Or, maybe they were just going after Jane because James actually owed them
Because
something.
the
for
brother,
the drug
that's
stuff.
what I thought. Because I'm like, why would Jane owe it? Like, the background we have on her, there's nothing criminal. There's nothing.
Yeah, it might have just been like, oh, if you don't pay us back, like, your sister better watch out.
That's what I was thinking. Like, that's the only connection I can think of.
And then there were just so many other people involved that when they had to go pick her up, everyone kind of just became collateral damage. Yeah.
And they said that Mark tried to attack or tried to defend them and play hero, quote unquote. And so they got pissed and beat him. And then they'd either been seen or they were clearly on drugs if he's taking painkiller, narcotics. Like, who knows? Things clearly got out of hand if this is true.
Right.
So that's one theory about why Mark would have been beaten to death first. Because he tried to defend the restaurant or whatever, play hero, and then why the others were killed differently. Again, we don't know if that's the case, but that is one explanation. So the Marion County Sheriff's Department weren't convinced. However, Forrester was able to lead them to exactly where they had found the bodies, which was not really necessarily public information. And so as one of the investigators remembered, after a length of time, it just seemed like for sure he was the right guy. He knew a lot of things that weren't public. However, his confession fell through because there wasn't enough evidence. And it's like...
So even if he is legitimately telling the truth, he still gets away with it.
It's just like, well, he said he did it.
Can you imagine getting to confess to a multi-person
Get it off
homicide,
your chest.
And just feel cleansed by the end of the day just for nothing to happen to you.
And then go home.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. So the Star paper still publishes confession along with his mugshot, and until this day, some believe he is the Burger Chef murderer for obvious reasons. One Indiana State Trooper, the guy I mentioned earlier, named Jim Kramer, told Insider in 2020 that he is confident that Forrester's confession was a lie. So he doesn't believe him, but he is reluctant to take anyone off the list for good. He says even after all the lies, sitting across from Forrester in 1986, Kramer felt a twinge of concern at Forrester's final warning uttered just before the interview shut down entirely. He said, quote, "If you send me back to prison, you'll never solve this." At least on that count, he was telling the truth. So, question mark.
God.
He died in prison in 2006. They did not solve it. And the latest in terms of what's been going on with the case is that it has been handed over to Detective Nicholas Alsbach, who's 36, an Iraq War veteran, joined the state police in 2007. He was born and raised in Johnson County, Indiana, and his father and grandfather were both Indiana State Troopers, and his grandfather was the crime scene technician who lifted the palm print off Jane's car after the murder. And so he said, I grew up hearing about this case. Now I'll see what I can do. So he has a mission to solve this that his grandfather was initially involved in, and it's been passed down.
That's very precious, but I also can't imagine being any cop who's been handed basically a cold case. And it's you fix it. And also time is only making this a further and further thing that you can solve. And
and here's a photograph. It's basically like a dollhouse we set up because none of it's real and you can't actually use it for evidence. But here it is.
Can you I wonder if there are cops out there or detectives who are my dream is to solve a cold case. But then there's if I were a cop or detective, I'd be do not give me one of those. There's clearly nothing has been able to be done.
Oh, I would be I want to solve all the old puzzles. But I feel like there's always something to be said for getting a fresh look at it or a younger set of eyes.
That's true. But I would immediately sense doom or failure and be if it hasn't been able to be solved since 1978, then how the fuck am I supposed to do
but I
anything?
feel especially nowadays with the advances in DNA and genetics, I feel there's so many new angles you can take. Because there are cases that are being solved regularly that are being passed down, that are being reopened for various reasons. And I feel the good news is nobody expects you to solve it because they haven't been able to do it. So
that's true. There's no pressure.
There's no pressure on you. It's well, here you go. If you want it, take a look. So yeah, I don't know.
You're right.
I love that storyline though of the new cop takes a look at an old case that hasn't been solved. I just think it's a cool story.
Clearly more your dream than mine, then,
know.
because
I'm
want to be
give
the
me
cop
the
that just
armchair story. I want to figure it out.
I just want to be the stereotype that like sits there and eats donuts and like.
Well,
that's
obviously that's part of my armchair situation. Don't worry. I'm on my fainting couch with a fucking armful of donuts.
Okay,
also.
perfect.
Also,
well,
don't you doubt it. So I have a couple more bullets here. The Burger Chef murders. I know I already told you this. They're still unsolved as of right now. Let's see if this new guy can take a fresh look and say, like, somebody missed something. Maybe, you never know. It happens. The case still haunts the Speedway, Indiana community. So in the summer of 2018, they raised money to plant 4 red oak trees in honor of Jane, Daniel, Ruth, and Mark. And those are there to this day, along with a memorial. And that's all I've got for you.
Wow.
It's sad.
Yeah, that's not good. I mean, none of the stories you tell are.
No, exactly. It's just another one in the bag.
Jeez. Well, good telling it. And also, I appreciate the ability to banter early on with Burger Chef Jeff.
We got a lot of fun info in the beginning. You're right. Like, at least
love a good.
We learned a thing
I love
or
a
two.
good slogan. I love a good logo. I love a good history of a restaurant and its little characters. I'm loving. Can you recite the what I consider the cereal monsters of fast food industry?
Oh my God,
there's like
absolutely.
Count Chocula, Boo Berry, Yummy Mummy,
it reminds
Fruit
me
Brute.
of like Hamburglar and all those guys. Like McDonald's clearly was.
Yeah,
like,
but it's all spooky, so that makes it.
Oh, that's true.
So to me, I think like Count Chocula's gang of like
you're
Boo
totally
Berry
right.
and all that.
I didn't think about that. They are kind of Halloweeny. So we got Burger Chef and Jeff.
Well, who could forget?
We've got the magician Burgerini. We've got the vampire Count Fangburger.
Count Fangburger, I like him.
I do too. We've got the talking ape Burgerilla, which
interesting.
I guess that's more like a King Kong.
I was gonna go with a King Kong situation.
Yeah. And then we've got Cackle Burger the Witch, which is my favorite.
We all know Cackle Burger is the favorite. I do have a personal allegiance to the witches. But Cackle Witch or whatever her name wasn't it Cackle Burger?
Cackle Burger.
I love her. That's
I'm gonna go. You love me.
I am gonna go find a shirt with Cackle Burger.
I'm going to send you this YouTube video, and we're gonna watch it together. And we're going to post the picture of Jeff, who's so scary, on our Instagram if you want to check it out.
He's literally his little eyes have been staring at me for the last 40 minutes. So
from your desktop?
Yes.
It's fucking great. Well, you can check us out at ATWW Podcast. That's where you can see Jeff on on the most recent Instagram post.
And I guess until then, catch up with us next week and see if Christine's had this fucking baby.
We'll see.
And
that's
why
we
drink.